All right guys, we just got our wall sheathing up today, and now we're gonna start on our ceiling joists. Then we'll start on our rafters. We're gonna put the ceiling joists up first because it's gonna assist in us being able to walk up there a little bit. So we're doing 24 on center. So let me show you real quick what we did. All right, so our last rafter is gonna sit out there on the end. I marked where each rafter is gonna sit, 24 on center, all the way down. And what I'm gonna do is come in here and I'm going to put directly next to where we want each rafter to go, I'm gonna put my ceiling joists. So we're using 2 by 10, I believe, or 2 by 8, some beefy stuff. So let's get those up and then we can walk on it and try to do our rafters. If this content helps you out at all, we would appreciate it if you drop down below, hit that like and subscribe button. We create new content twice a week as we expand our homestead, and we'd love to grow with you. For the ceiling joists, I cut about 1.5 inches short here. That way it won't stick out too much. So, but there'll still be plenty seated on this king crown here. So. All right, so I just got all the ceiling joists cut right now, and I went ahead and crowned them, and I marked the top for each one so I can throw it up there. You don't have to figure it out when I'm up there. Do it on the ground. All right guys, so I just got my rafter laid out with the bird's mouth in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this. I'm not a rafter god, so it took me a little bit to figure it out. It's cut out, got my handsaw for the final cuts for the bird's mouth so we don't mess it all up. All right guys, so I had a tough time laying that out there or trying to hold it up there to see if it would be good. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get this ridge beam finagled up there by myself. Let's do this. All right guys, so we have this all set up right now to place our beam up here. And now I'm gonna get the drone up, and then we can put this beam up, and then we can make sure that first rafter fits, and then I'm assuming it'll fit. We can create 3 more of those, and then we should have it held with 4 rafters, and then we'll get the rest up. But 4 is a crucial number because you get that thing supported. So let's get to it. Let's get the drone up, see if we can place this beam. It's kind of heavy. We have our 1 foot over marked for this here. That way we have our 1 foot bump out from the edge of the house. So let's get to it. All right guys, so I just banged in these 4 first rafters. The ridge beam is held up. It's all toe-nailed in and secured to these ceiling joists. So this thing is not going anywhere. I have our brackets up there and everything's tied in. So let's get to cutting some more rafters. All right, guys, so what I just went ahead and did was installed that last rafter over there. I had to cut it to where it's going to meet up. I'll show you that in a second. But I cut these collar ties or slash ceiling joists just because some of them were sticking out over the rafters, so we cut those back. And then there wasn't a ceiling joist landing on this last exterior rafter, so I went ahead and blocked that out. So now it's tied into this last ceiling joist and it's nice and secure. So over here, the last ceiling joist landed inside this roof here. So what I did was I went ahead and consulted with some people and decided to cut that last rafter back and then make basically a false rafter tail right here, and then the fascia will line up all the way against that and then match flush on that and the original fascia, so it'll look almost the same. We'll just cut off the tails in the bottom to match it up. Now I have to work on extending this ridge beam to meet the roof, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place an extra piece of wood on the top of this to show us where it's going to land, and then we'll mark it out and try to do some diagonal work and get where we want to put our valley basically. All right, guys, so I've already started ripping my shingles off. What I went ahead and did was from this top beam that we're gonna use to set our ridge beam extension and connection to the house, I laid a board across from there to the bottom, and then I basically scored it down and then cut it back a couple inches back so we can start placing our wood to get in there and connect this thing to the house. All right, guys, I've absolutely went way too far without recording. I put my sleepers in, and then I went ahead and extended our ridge, blocked it in with something a little bit shorter so it doesn't catch your plywood. And then I went ahead and cut my jack rafters. Now we only needed 2, which was kind of nice. Just did this measuring out with the square and then setting it back to the correct spot. Not a pro at this, but I figured it out using somebody else's video. I'll try to link it down below, and what I used is a pretty good video, so I'm not even going to try to explain that to you. But yeah, this is all set up now. What I have left is I have to box out the end overhang here. I already have the rafters cut there and there, so I'll just box them out and then get it tacked up. And then I have to cut the rafter tails right there to match the existing on the other side of the house, and we're just going to do it on both sides so it looks even though there's no existing over here. We'll get those cut off and then we'll get the fascia on. So we're moving right along. Hopefully I can finish up the framing on this so we can get some plywood up here on the roof. Let's see if I can get this up there by myself. I'm not sure how it's gonna go, and I don't really know how I'm gonna brace it yet, but let's try this. Let's go. All right, guys, I just got that overhang done up there. It was kind of twisted on the ridge, so I had to use these Georgeson clamps. They're pretty freaking sweet. They one was like just shy of like clamping it to the rafter by itself, so I didn't have a hand, so I linked two of these together, sucked it right up and held it there while I got it secured up on the ridge. Super helpful. Probably couldn't have done it without it. It would have been super shoddy, but those are all nice and secure now. Last thing we have to do is get the fascia on the edge, but before that I'm going to measure how much we're going to cut off of each tail, and then we'll just do that all the way around, and then we'll get our fascia up and mounted. All right, guys, all the framing, or almost all the framing, is done in this. I still haven't boxed out for this edge gable end here, but I got the overhang. I got my rafters cut and boxed with the fascia, and I don't think it looks too bad considering it's a DIY job, you know? Pretty darn happy with it. Next step, we start with sheathing the roof, and then I won't have water draining in my roof anymore. So if you aren't already, make sure you drop down below, hit that like and subscribe button. Really helps our channel out as we grow. We'd love to grow with you as we expand our homestead.